it be a little showtime, baby?
Allied to Claxton, points to the shoot three. Oh, he made it! Turtle to Claxton for three.
Alright, hi again everybody, welcome to another night of Georgia Bulldogs basketball, and tonight is the biggest game of the season for the Georgia Bulldogs basketball team. It is the enemy, it is my most hated team, the team I hate the most. It is Georgia Tech. The game will start, I will make sure I got it right, but I believe it is 8 o'clock. It is 8 o'clock. Georgia and Georgia Tech will tip off at 8 o'clock. Pre-game on the radio will start at 7:35. This is a huge game. This is the biggest game of the season, in my opinion. Now, Georgia Tech, Georgia is, let's see, that would be 3-0. Georgia Tech lost to North Florida the other night, but they did beat Texas Southern, so they are 2-1. This is the game right here for me, man. Like, this game means so much to some people. This is my game. This is like the game I circle on the calendar the most for Georgia when their schedule's released. The fact it's not played after the football, I guess it's a very early matchup for these two teams. I'm looking. They played December 5th last year. And a few years they played in January. So very, very unusual timing for this game. But I guess it's the only time they could have it. Georgia is 92-107 versus Georgia Tech. Yes, that is a losing record, but Georgia did win last year, 76-32. And Georgia pretty much has owned the series as of late. Georgia won in 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20. They didn't play the COVID season. Georgia Tech won in 21-22, and then 22-23 they technically stole a victory from Georgia in 22-23. That was a horrible missed call. And then Tuesday, December 5th last year, Georgia beat Georgia Tech 76-62. This is a big game. Georgia is coming off a win versus Texas Southern and North Florida. North Florida was a very, very talented team, but they are going to be nothing like Georgia Tech. To at least in kind of a, I don't want to say a, I don't want to make fun or anything, but Miles Kelly transferred. Miles Kelly now is at Auburn. He kind of torched Georgia every time they played, but thank goodness he's not there no more. I was trying to see, last year he had 12 points in the game last year for Georgia. Noah Thomason with 16, Jabri Abdul-Rahim with 12, Celeste DeMary Jr. with 8, Russell Chiegel with 17, Justin Hill with 14, Blue Kane with 12, RJ Melendez with 6, and Frank Ansel eBay with 1. Georgia shot 30% from 3-point last year. Georgia had 16 second chance points, 28 points in the paint, 33 bench points. This is a huge game for Georgia basketball. This is the game that's always circled. I do not like Georgia Tech. I believe they are the most annoying school of all time. But at the same time, too, you split the last two, right? They won in 22-23. We won 23-24. If we win in McCamish Pavilion, that means we are 2-1 in the last 3 matchups. So we need to win that game to have ultimate bragging rights. They also need to win in football, but that's not this week. That's a few weeks away. Hey, I mean, if Georgia can play like they did against North Florida, if we can shoot the threes like we did versus North Florida, the 3-point shooting was better than it has been all season versus North Florida, and play with defense. This is the best Georgia defense I've seen in a while. And I start off like that. Remember, against UCF, Georgia had problems, and against Tennessee Tech, Georgia had some problems playing defense. But with Samoto in the paint, with RJ Godfrey, and then you add whoever else outside Demery, a few whoever it may be, Georgia's defense is pretty much locked down this year. Like, it's no wonder why teams are having to hit lucky shots to stay in games versus Georgia, because our defense is pretty good. I mean, if I'm a point guard and I have to drive under the rim versus a Moto Croyle, I would rather just throw it out of bounds because I don't want to get blocked. That's what's pretty much is going to happen if you go under the paint with Godfrey or Croyle. You're going to get blocked. Like, don't even try. It's going to be one of those blocks that's going to make you end up on Sports Center for even trying that shot. That will not work. But in Georgia's offense, like I said, the three-pointer, but Georgia has a dominant inside the paint game this year, again with Samoto and RJ Godfrey. RJ Godfrey had a few plays versus North Florida that just looked absolutely brutal. Like, I think the rim would have broke if he wasn't careful. Like that one, Croyle had that one dunk where he caught the ball, had to go down and catch it, just slammed it in with one hand. Like, if you slam that with two hands, chances are you break the rim. And you know, RJ Godfrey, of course, with the wonderful alley-oop with the pass from Dakota LaFew. I mean, just wonderful, right? Georgia finally has consistency in offense and defense. And it's just wonderful to see. It is just wonderful to see. It is just great to see that. So, with that being said as well, I want to give a few predictions. I think that Dakota LaFew will have more than 18 points. I think RJ Godfrey will have more than 15 points. And probably Asa Newell will I think that Asa Newell could get a double-double. So, there's a free stellar predictions for Georgia and Georgia Tech. At the end of the day, I just hope we win, man. I just hope we win. You know, this game just means so much to people, man. If Georgia wins, that will set us off to play Alabama A&M next week and then set sail for the Bahamas. But you got to get past Georgia Tech first. This is a very, very big game for the Hoop Dogs. Hopefully Georgia comes out on top. Hopefully Georgia beats Georgia Tech yet again. That would be wonderful to see tonight. So, once again, Georgia and Georgia Tech, 8 o'clock tip-off. You can listen on the Georgia Bulldog Sports Network with Scott, Chuck, Adam, and Luke. Radio broadcast time starts at 7:35, 95.5 WSB. I'm probably going to use a different affiliate tomorrow. I'm probably making 95.1 The Mountain. I have not used that station since the Vanderbilt game last year, so I am thinking of a different affiliate to use but then again, I want to use WSB for the big game, and this is a big game, so I'll figure that out, because I'm going to use WSB Saturday for the Georgia game, football game, so I'm just kind of thinking about what affiliate I'm going to use. I don't like to change it up often, but when I do, remember against Tennessee Tech, I used in football versus Tennessee Tech, I used ESPN Cleveland. So we'll figure that out as we go. But Georgia and Georgia Tech, Hoop Dogs versus Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, my most hated team. Frick Georgia Tech. I hate Georgia Tech very much. I hope we come into McCamm's Pavilion and win by 50. That would be awesome. 107 to 51 would be amazing. Drop 50 in your own place. But we're gonna come into McCamm's Pavilion and take it over. It's gonna be painted. We're gonna have that Georgia flag at the middle of the court when it's all said and done. So, go Hoop Dogs and let's beat Georgia Tech.
Dogs do the improbable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They beat Arkansas and go wire to win the SEC tournament.